Going outside during a pandemic? It's more likely than you think. Hi, I'm Ella, and I'm gonna be your host for this slideshow of pictures. And here's a montage of me going outside and taking pictures and stuff. Yeah! We began this treacherous journey in my side yard where I found some fashion azaleas, and I thought they were really, really pretty, so I took a picture with them. I saw a robin outside of my neighbor's house and it looked really cute, but I didn't want to scare it, so I zoomed in, pardon the terrible quality. And then I made my way over to the elementary school because there is a lot of grass there, but I am not sure what type of grass it is. I think it is tall turf grass. And then I saw this elm tree and I was like, hey, we have the same name, kind of, like with the E's and everything. So then after that, I went over to the woods and I saw this stagnant vernal pond. So I decided to take a picture with the stagnant pond, which I'm sure is not stagnant all the time. And I saw tall, tiny tree stumps. So I was like, hey. So I saw a deer, which is a heterotroph, and the funny thing is that whenever deer see me, they all get very scared, and I get very scared, so it saw me, and I started running away from it, except for I didn't run because I didn't want to scare it. Funny story about deer, sometimes they surround me and they get all like defensive, and then I get really defensive, and I get scared, and I backed away, and a couple of times they surrounded me, and I got really scared, so I almost started crying, but I ran away. I wasn't sure as to what type of bug this was, but I'm pretty sure it was an ant and hopefully not a tick. I started to walk back from the woods, little did I know I would return later anyways, when suddenly something had pointed and stabbed my leg, which was not very pleasant, and I turned around and I looked down to see that there was a little branch with thorns on it. So then I took a picture and I tried very hard to get my face in it, but I couldn't because I'm not that flexible, so you can see my hair and my sunglasses and my nails. And now I'm kind of tired because I did that in one breath. So as I was leaving the woods, I saw this bench, and I decided, hey, that's a bench in nature. Why don't I take a picture of it? So that caused me to go back into the woods, and here is where I took some pictures with some rocks and some moss. So the next few pictures were taken in the same place, and there used to be this development in the 1930s that they were building, but I guess it didn't work out or something, so they stopped it. It was an old development site that they were building, and then during the Great Depression, it died. So I finally decided to leave the woods for like the third time when I saw some deer footprints, and then they were really cute, but deer are scary. Once I was out of the woods for I thought was the final time, I saw a tree that was red, and hey, that isn't green or brown. So I walked around and I found a mysterious hole in the tree that was different from all the other holes. And all the other holes looked like this, which I assumed were homes for squirrels or chipmunks or something else. So I continued to walk and I saw this on somebody's driveway and hey, it's a stalk with seeds, so I took a picture of it. Then I headed back to the woods because I'm dumb and I saw a shadow and it was a tree. Then I approached the woods for what I believe is the final time on this day, and I saw a squirrel and it didn't notice me, and I think it was part deaf. Or maybe it didn't see me because I was able to get this close to it without it noticing me, and then I took a picture and then it heard me and then it ran away. So I found a long stick in the woods after I went into the woods after scaring the squirrel, and I stabbed myself trying to take a picture of it. The stick scratched me a couple times, but I guess you know what, that was my fault. So I finally left the woods for the last time of that day. And as I exited the woods, I saw a bright red trash can and I said, hey, that's my buddy. I must take a picture with them. I was walking home when I saw this tree and I said, hey, that's a huge tree. Let me try to wrap my arms around it. But I couldn't because it was way too big. If you look at it, it's way really, really big. It's bigger than me. And it's really old and I'm pretty sure it's an oak tree. So I tried to take a picture with it and I tried. Then I finally started to head home, I think. And then I saw the fence that this little kid discovered what security cameras were. So I was like, fences are on the list. I'm taking a picture with it because you know what? I'm taking what I can get. When I arrived home, I circled my house one last time to look for any creatures that might be out that I could take pictures of. And I saw a honeybee. It was very big and I was kind of scared of it, but I didn't want to scare it, so I zoomed on it really close. And it was really cute, but it went really close to me and it was really scary. So I thought I was going to do something funny here and say like, oh look, it's a bone in nature because you know trombone and stuff. So I got into the marching band getup, but then I decided not to. I didn't want to waste this clip, but like here's me marching and doing some visuals, and I'm just gonna play a high B flat that's gonna break your ears because I've only known how to do this for like a few months. Here's a picture of me on the roof taking a picture of the sunset because I thought it was pretty and it was part of the project. Boom, boom, boom. Normally my face wouldn't be in it, but whatever. I had taken this picture at 5 a.m. from my bedroom window because I couldn't sleep, and normally I sleep when the birds start chirping because that's when you know it's too early. It was the next day and I headed out and I started once again in my driveway. And this is when I found some pointy shrub leaves that also happened to be dead, but I don't think this counts as two things because that would be cheating. My yard, and then I went for a little walk and then I found a patch of clovers, which was also on the assignment, so I took a picture with the clovers. Began to get frustrated because I didn't know what I wanted to add onto my list when suddenly I remembered that skies and stuff exist. So I looked up to the sky to see some nimbostratus clouds, which should have been ominous and foreboding. However, I pardoned their warning and I got rained on eventually, but it was worth it. Once I had reached my destination, I had noticed that there had been a lonely dandelion alone by the street. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a picture with that just so it feels less lonely. And I did. Because I'm a tiny person and I can't see very well because I'm tiny, I decided to climb a storage container to see if there was anything I could take a picture of. Then, that's when I noticed that the parking strips were white and the majority of cars that were in the parking lot were white. I remembered that there were tiny little white rocks in the back of the school, so I ran over to there to find these tiny round rocks. I ran around the backfield once more, even though I had ran around it 3 times the prior day, to see if there was anything I missed, and suddenly I realized in these desperate times that one of the trees had smooth bark. Sadly, I hadn't been able to find out what kind of trees they were because then it started to drizzle, and I didn't want to get wet. Little did I know I would get very wet later. I was preparing to walk to my next location, which I didn't know where it was. I was looking at the ground sadly, and I saw this little Y-shaped stick. Da, 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 green leaves. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it? Sorry for the past 2 voiceovers. I don't know what to say, but I don't want to stop talking because then it would be an awkward pause in the music, in the sound. So, you know how I said those ominous clouds should have given me a sign before? Well, they did, and I disregarded them, and that's why this picture is blurry, because the wind started picking up, and it started raining, and you'll see that as we go by, my hair gets wetter, and I tried to hide under this tree that I couldn't identify because it was raining and I was scared, and here you can see it's raining in the background, and yeah, rain is not fun, but yes, it is. Actually, I disagree. I thought I was going to head home, but then I saw this new grass sprouting out of the ground at my neighbor's house, and that told me that you could do it and that you should keep going. So I started to walk, and I saw flowing water into the sewer because it was raining, and it was nice flowing water. I continued to walk down my neighborhood by my old middle school bus stop when I saw a ball in somebody's yard, and why not take a picture of it? It's free real estate. Here you could see that my hair was very wet because I was walking for a long time, and when I ran into some honeyvine milkweed, which is, I believe, and then I saw some nature. It was a daisy. It was a really pretty daisy. Since the daisy had friends, I decided to take a picture of the daisy and its friends. I made my way past my middle school bus stop and then I went over to the high school bus stop just for old time's sake, and I saw this rock that I always see. There's always smashed bottles by it, but there's no more smashed bottles. Finally made it home, and I saw some vines that I hadn't seen in my yard before, which was kind of suspicious. But you know what? It's a project. I'm taking a picture of it, and by the time I got home, I was absolutely soaked. You can't see it, but I was wet and cold, and my hair was wet.